Now, 2013, indeed, it's been a remarkable year for housing. So what will the market be like in 2014? For his insight and perspective, we're joined by Anthony Lolli, founder and CEO of Rapid Realty. Anthony, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So, Anthony, as we just reported there, from 2012 to 2013, a rise of about 8% in home values, according to Zillow. According to the case S&P Schiller Home Price Index over the past 4 quarters, as of September, a rise of 11%. Remarkable growth.
Yes.
What are the reasons behind this?
Well, you know, institutional investors, private equity, buying up properties for the specific purpose of renting. That's really what's shoring up the properties and in the economy at this point.
So you're saying it's institutional investors, private equity, it's not home buyers, and this is a false market, according to you.
It is a false market. You know, it's really an artificial market, if you call it.
Well, it's interesting because Robert Schiller, who compiles the case S&P Schiller Index, seems to share your opinion. He says that he is concerned that what's been driving the market is these institutional investors, and that when they flip in 2014, cash in their profits, we're going to see a decline. So do you agree with that?
Well, I agree to some point because they still have leases. Some of those leases are 1 or 2 years. So we're not going to see a lot of the flipping going on for another 2 years. So that still remains to be seen. And there's so many factors. First of all, we have the new changing of the guard of the Fed. Mm-hmm. That's number one. We have the new head of the FHFA. And we have to see what Fannie and Freddie is going to do with the tapering.
Well, we know that the Fed is going to start tapering off $10 billion a year, $10 billion a month as of next year, and the Fed's $85 billion per month injection of buying mortgage-backed securities has really helped boost the market. So what's going to happen when they start the tapering?
We have January 10th, the Dodd-Frank rules come into play, so a lot of lenders are waiting to see what the rules and regulations are, so they're afraid to make any moves until that point.
So what is your outlook then for 2014 given all this?
My outlook is that there's going to still be institutional buyers buying up properties, renting them out. And word on the street is that they're going to slowly release inventory. They're not going to flood the market with inventory because interest rates are rising at a steady 11 to 13% equity appreciation rates. So, yeah.
But surely this boom cannot be just because of institutional investors. I mean, we are seeing Americans buying more homes for themselves, right?
Well, that's only because there's limited inventory. There really isn't much interest to buy homes anymore. The rental market is red hot, and people would much rather just rent for the agility purposes.
Why would they rather rent? The American dream is to own a home. Hence, we have Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae.
Yes, but they're experiencing buyer's shock or buyer's remorse. There's still a lot of homeowners underwater, so they're not going to list their properties unless they have some sort of equity. And the fact that institutional buyers are buying up properties is helping that note, but it's just not enough.
So we have seen the rate of appreciation decline. It's still growing, but the increase has slowed down.
Correct.
Do you see that continuing then?
I think it's going to continue to slow down. And if there's too much inventory on the market, that's going to make it collapse again.
So what else do you see derailing the housing market then?
I see that if too much inventory hits the market at one time, it's going to derail it. But I can tell you this, the threat of rising interest rates is making Mr. and Mrs. Smith go take a second look at homes. The lending is tighter, so there's less foreclosures on the market, so it's not as scary. So when you get a loan, you know you actually qualified for it. So the people that are out there are really qualified, but they're buying new homes, new construction homes instead of resales.
What about the role of foreign investors in the housing market?
Well, that's a major thing. That's also what's helping the market a lot. I mean, this is a safer place to park your money. Your return is going to be there to the tune of 8 to 12%. And it makes sense because they can lease them out for a decent amount of money.
And with regards to the new home construction, it's been up to a 5.5-year high, according to recent data.
Yes.
So how is that going to play into 2014?
Well, recent data shows that 24% of plans and permitting for construction is really in the multi-unit housing sector. So that's also something interesting when you have companies like the Toll Brothers buying properties to develop rental properties. So that's something to really take a look at because there isn't as much new housing that you can purchase other than just rent.
So do you think we're going to be reaching the peak of housing again? Is another bubble forming with the role of institutional investors, and you're saying this big surge in renting?
Well, there's an old saying, better a Munster than a Nunster. At least they're buying up some properties, they're fixing them up, they're being rented, some action and activity is healthy. It's better than nothing.
So, as a home buyer, would you get into the market now?
Yes, I would, because without a shadow of a doubt, the homes are going to be up. If you're not looking to buy and flip and you're buying holding, absolutely. Within the next 3 to 5 years, your home's going to be worth a heck of a lot more.
What would you say would be the big housing trend for 2014?
Well, obviously, there's the safe bets, like San Francisco is the hottest place, New York's the hottest place, but it depends on what you want to buy for. A lot of the places that were hit the worst are the places to invest in now for equity appreciation purposes. But for buying and faster equity appreciation, you buy in the hot markets.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anthony Lolli, founder and CEO of Rapid Realty.